What are your thoughts on Tunisians boycotting the ballot on Saturday? Reports said that less than 9% showed up. Is democracy dead in Tunisia? 9%.
That's horrible.
Wow. You want to actually? This is the last remaining hope for the Arab Spring for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So Tunisia votes, but elections are already labeled a sham. In the run-up to Saturday's elections, the atmosphere on the streets of the Tunisian capital, Tunis, was anything but hopeful. I will not participate in the poll because there is no credibility or transparency. Lofty, somebody said, a civil servant in Tunis said, told DW, adding that the elections are a sham and the parliament will be a body without powers. Yeah, so basically it became back. Tunisia apparently is going back to dictatorship after being the only country for the Arab Spring that we had hope for.
There was an initiator as well. It was the initiator of and that confirms. I don't know. I don't know what your views are, and this is why I see that democracy is a weak form of government, but it takes a long time to evolve, and when it does evolve, it is also the strongest form of government.
Yes.
Look at what's happening in Iran, and like all these dictatorships or totalitarian countries, they're always scared of a revolution. They're always one revolution away. Whereas democracies like the United States, no matter what happens, it's going to constantly keep on evolving. And the reason for that is there's no dictator there. I mean, Obama, no matter what happens, he cannot come back for the third term. He just can't. So there's going to be new blood. There's going to be new idea. There's going to be new person. No matter how much you hate someone's face or someone's guts for being your president, you can just wait for him to be voted out. And the country keeps on moving forward. So democracies take a long time to evolve. But I don't know. I hope this... I hope it survives. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, okay, so I'm going to give you guys some hope, okay? Even though it might be difficult, okay? I think it's too soon to judge, okay? And I will give you one example, and I know this is not comforting, but just to show you the potential, okay? And I use this example time and time and again, okay? The French Revolution, a few decades after the French Revolution, if you looked at it and asked people if this revolution was successful, the answer would have been a clear no. All right. After the French Revolution, not even before Napoleon, people were chopping heads like there was no tomorrow. It was the streets were filled with blood. Everywhere, people were being executed. The values and ideals of the French Revolution, which were the Enlightenment values, which was one of it was supposed to be valuing humanity, humanism, valuing human life, free speech, and all of that went out the window completely because people were having their heads chopped off after the revolution because of their opinions, right? All the time. Even the people who were responsible for the revolution, their heads were being constantly chopped off. Okay, it was I think it was a record in history about how many people's heads were being chopped off per day, right? So there was a sea of blood. Yeah, there was a sea of blood. They had to come up with the guillotine to make it faster. But even after that, the result was Napoleon came to power, which was a bigger dictator than the king that they had removed. So they didn't even get democracy. So if you look at all of that, you're like, okay, that was a bad mistake. We shouldn't even have done the French Revolution, right? But if you then looked at the French Revolution 150 or 200 years after the French Revolution, you can see that not only it was the most beneficial thing to France that has ever happened, it was the most beneficial thing to the world. The whole world is a better place because of the French Revolution. The Enlightenment values have spread all across the world. You know, like Japan is a superpower, economic superpower. Look at South Korea, look at Taiwan, look at Australia, right? To look at United States. United States is a superpower right now because of the French Revolution. United States is a superpower because of the French Revolution. Look at Canada. These are all because of the French Revolution. So if you had a longer time horizon, you see, like maybe
there's a bit of a different debate on that. I want to pick your brains on that because I see there's a debate on that where people say it's not the French Revolution. We can't give credit for liberal democracies to French Revolution as much as we need to give it to the American Revolution. So
they work hand in hand.
Yeah, but American Revolution came before the French Revolution. So
yes, but the American Revolution was influenced by the French Enlightenment.
Yes,
very much so.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Yes.
So that's where they relate the two, and like Americans say, "No, hang on a second, it's us, like the greatest document ever written," and blah blah blah, which is fine. Like I guess again, but there are two camps.
Yes.
Who some go with French Revolution and some go with the American Revolution and all that.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, when I talk about the French Revolution, I'm not just talking about the bloody part. I'm talking about the idea part that comes before it as
Enlightenment. Yes.
The Enlightenment.
Voltaire and all of that. Yeah.
Yes, everything. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So I think maybe when you have your go at democracy, it doesn't go like, oh, let's push for democracy and you topple the dictator and then you get democracy. It might take a couple of waves, right? Like right now, for example, what you're seeing in Iran, started more than 100 years ago. Okay, Iran was one of the first countries, along with Turkey, that made a major push for democracy. In Iran, we called it the Constitutional Revolution, the Enqilab Mashrute. That experiment with trying to push the king to become more democratic and having a parliament, so the protest that you're seeing in Iran, so if you look at that first revolution, you could like, oh, it failed, like we didn't have a proper democracy, right? But this is a longer term project, right? So the protest that we're right now seeing in Iran happening is a continuum of something that started 100 years ago. So don't give up on democracy if the first couple of waves and pushes don't work. Like this is like a 100-year or 200-year project eventually for you to get. Like look at Europe. Europe didn't get like when the ideas of democracy first came until Europe became democratic. It didn't take a few decades. It took like 100 or 200 years. So we don't give up and don't push for it if it fails. We have to keep pushing for it. Okay,
it is the best system. It is the best system, and I think what you're trying to say is like, okay, so a lot of people get disheartened and they say, well, let's see, democracy doesn't. And I've heard this argument in Pakistan as well. A lot of people say, well, maybe we need a strong man, strong dictator, because our country, our people are so devious and so uncivilized. And by the way, there you go. Ibn Qayyum was actually he was getting angry with me. This is a very common argument in Pakistan. They say this is Lati ki qaum hai, meaning these people need to be caned. This is a very common sentiment in Pakistan, who are very anti-democratic, and that's the reason why they actually love military dictators sometimes. Musharraf was very popular. So the argument is that they're so uncivilized, we're not civilized enough for a democracy. So, and then some people like us come in and say, no, we can also be civilized. We can also be good, just like everyone else. Don't talk yourself down, but let it evolve. So, and this is what we worry in Pakistan since 1947. We've had some sort of a democracy going. Yes, we've had military intervention, but nothing as bloody or brutal like what happened in Iran or in some other places as well. So, yeah, that's what Armin is saying, that don't give up on democracy. You can't give up on democracy. It takes, it's like a little seedling. You've just thrown it. You just need to let it, spring out and, sprout out. And then it's going to turn into a big, strong tree. Look at the United States or all these Western countries. Even Germany, like you were talking about French Revolution, but even Germany, look at this. How was it? Like 75 years ago, after the First World War, they gave democracy a chance and it failed. And then look who came and look what he did. And then again, look at another.
That's a great example. Good job. That's a great example. Yeah,
and Germany ended up becoming it's still an economic superpower. It's the third largest economy, I think, in terms of.
It's the biggest. It's the biggest economy in Europe.
In Europe, yeah, definitely. But I think it's the third. I think it's after China. It's the biggest.
No, after China, it's Japan.
No, I think Japan's gone down.
Oh, okay.
I think so. World's largest democracy. Oh, sorry, economy. There you go. Top 50 largest economy. Oh yeah. Okay. One place is saying, Oh yeah, you're right. Japan is 4.9 trillion. Germany is 4.2 trillion. Okay. Well, why do I keep hearing that Japan is going down? Anyway, okay, let's just go with that.
Japan is not going down. Japan is going up slower.
No, they're going
It's not
down.
going down. No, like long-term GDP. Okay, here. GDP.
Aren't they? Isn't the population negative? And whenever there's population negative, the economy actually shrinks. By the way, before you
it's actually going up. You know, if you look at it long term, they're always going up. Like maybe 1 year to go down, but like long term, they're still going up. They're going up very slowly, slower than other places, but they're still going up.
So a lot of people,
like for them to go down, you need to have all recession over and over again. You don't have recession, so. To have your questions answered on the next live stream, become my patron today. You can do so with as little as $1 a month. Link in the description below.